following is a personal review of Dying Light made by Techland. Please support the game and developers. Alright, this is BrotherofHavok and this is Denmail. This is going to be a review for Dying Light, a new game that came out about 2 hours ago. I'm pretty sure, about two and a half hours ago. Immediately got the game and decided to go ahead and make a review for it. I basically got on at 3 a.m. I'm really tired. First impressions, it is not the train wreck we were expecting.
Little history here. We heard that yesterday there was no official advanced release copies for review purposes given out to any of the reviewers. That no NDA, no nothing. It's just no advanced review copies. So we were like, holy shit, red flag.
Yeah, major red flag. Most of the time when that happens, the game when it actually does come out, the game is complete crap. It's almost completely broken, not worth buying at all. Unplayable. So it's it was really big, really taken by surprise when we found out that the game actually is playable. And for a good portion of it, I guess the first 2 hours of gameplay, it actually wasn't too bad.
It's fairly well optimized compared to other.
Yeah, compared to other day one releases, it's fairly well optimized. But a few positives. The game itself has some beautiful scenery and some beautiful background. Particularly love the thing. It also has some detailed zombies and detailed the terrain and all that. So it can be enjoyable to actually watch. I actually really liked the city. It really actually was pretty packed. There's plenty of chances for that you can parkour around. You can really kind of go everywhere.
It easily has as much square footage as the first area in Dead Island 1. As a reference, it has about as much square footage as the first beach area of that game. Probably more. But then everything is just crammed packed so that there's no driving segments, no open areas that you just wander for nothing, and everything has vertical element to it. There's buildings all over the place.
Yeah, there's ground floors, second floors, third floors, balconies, rooftops, all kinds of things, stairs, different portions.
An overpass that we haven't even gotten to yet.
Yeah, it's surprisingly difficult to even look at it. They have a huge thing. But yeah, so there's plenty of that.
Some strange frame drops. Yeah. Just when you look at the right angle, I don't know what that's about.
No. Anyway, but another good thing about the city was the fact that they had zombies were all over the place. You had every corner could find a zombie, and while during the daytime it's kind of surprising and not really a big of a threat, during the nighttime it was definitely scary kind of thing where you literally had to hide, and you were practically begging and praying to God that the zombies wouldn't come around that corner and see you, because if they did, you were screwed.
If you can get to the nighttime, your first nighttime,
the first true nighttime.
Yeah. It is awesome. I think it's the sequence from the trailer that everyone's seen before, and it's if you haven't, I suggest you look it up, and it is exactly as tense as that vertical slice made it out to be.
Yeah. So far, I have to say that the Dying Light is the virtual spiritual successor to the Dead Island series. It's got everything that Dead Island had, zombies. The crafting system it's back. I wasn't really a big fan of it anyway, but it's there.
Yeah.
You've got all kinds of melee combat, and you still have the skills, which I wasn't really for as well. But
basically, if you like the Dead Island series and you didn't like the new MOBA games that's coming out, that they kind of go on a completely different direction. But if you like the original Dead Island game, you are going to love Dying Light if you can get past the first hour. But it's going to be, it really does feel like a Dead Island game with a bigger map, denser, more vertical parkour elements added into it. And everything is just ratcheted up to the next level of awesomeness. And the nighttime is where you're going to get your money's worth in this game. I swear, the nighttime is scary.
Yeah. Well, that being said, there are a few issues with the Dying Light, especially because it's, day one, hour one, basically. But one of the biggest problems I had, and I still have right now, is the first 2 hours, I probably spent about an hour and a half, either in some talking animation or some movie animation, and could not control my character at all, could not do a damn thing that I wanted to. And I mean, for 2 hours, half an hour of actual gameplay, that's just ridiculous. And maybe it's just the beginning. Maybe it'll change eventually. It won't have any animation, and I'll be begging for the animations. I don't know. But for the moment, it's just way. I'm watching a movie. I'm barely playing the game.
I want to say that it might be the case that they're actually trying to build suspense by drawing out this introductory sequence so that you are just surprised by the sheer intensity of the first nighttime outing. And it's if that's the case, well, it's you guys have built way too much suspense for that.
Yeah, but once again, though, there's plenty of other ways, plenty of better ways to have done that, to have built that suspense, rather than just bore the players out the wazoo with meaningless, and in some cases, bad script writing and plot lining. It's just it really becomes the question as to how much time and effort do they spend on the scripts, plots, and overall storyline of the game itself.
If there's a weak point in the game, it's going to be that first hour. In fact, I would say that once you beat the game, you will never start up a new. You will not want to start up a new character just because of that first hour. It is really, really bad.
It's stupid. It makes no sense why it's so bad. Other issues with the game, going back to day one issues, optimization is completely and utterly poor. There definitely seems to be some sort of memory leak. There was times where, my max frames per second was about 35, 37, and on average I was somewhere around 18 frames per second. And the problem was that unless I went through a loading screen in which basically it would refresh what's in the memory. Essentially, the game itself the frames would drop and never go back up. So you could have had almost 40 frames per second at one moment, but then 10 minutes down the gameplay, you'll be at 32. And you'll never get back to 35. And then 20 minutes past that, you'll be at 25, and never get back to 30. And then 10 minutes past that, or another hour past that, you're probably going to be at my average, which was somewhere around 16 to 18 frames per second. And then that is just poor.
By the end of our play session, our play session, by the end of our play session, we were getting about 14 frames per second.
Yeah, and with recordings, it became difficult at times. I had to stop the recordings. I used fraps, which is stupid, I know, but I was using fraps, and I had to actually stop recording because the frame rates dropped to 1 frame per second, or in some cases, I assume 0 frames per second. And it just was impossible to even try to play the game or get beyond anything else. And I was really trying to get a decent portion into the game so that I could actually get a proper review of more of the game, rather than just say, hey, this is my, I've played for an hour and this is what I say about it.
Yeah, and it's I want to point out that, even when we turned fraps off, the performance did not improve at all.
Well,
it stayed at about the same range.
Yeah.
But it was just the fact that it got progressively worse as we kept playing is
clear signs of a memory leak.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that,
hopefully that's patchable though.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be patchable. But I'm sure it's patchable. But and not only that, but there's one other major problem I had with just starting the game out, and that was the high PC requirements. Now I'm sure that for PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, or if it's for the previous generation, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, I'm sure they're not going to have anywhere near as big an issue as the requirements, because there will be basically a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. But PC-wise, and we're talking about 4 gigs of RAM and 40 gigs of memory space, plus you have to have a certain graphics card powerful enough to handle it, and it really became even with the recommended settings or recommended requirements, it still became quite an issue to deal with any of the game's enemies on a regular basis. You also had some issues with the parkour, which was undoubtedly going to be one of the biggest things about this game, considering how it was the biggest introduction to the Dead Island series. Basically, the biggest difference is the parkour.
It's the biggest departure point from the original Dead Island series.
Yeah, and the problem with it was that the parkouring seemed to either be a teleportation, how it's supposed to be, or simply you just it didn't make sense how you were able to make certain things and not make other things.
Basically, you would sort of have your character jump at a ledge, and we were looking at it, and it looked like there was no way you could make that. But you jump at a ledge, and then you get within a certain distance, and then you just teleport into a pulling yourself up animation.
Yeah.
And it was okay, which I'd rather have that than like the other extreme, which is like you can't grab onto anything at all. But generally speaking, it was fast and fluid once you got the hang of it. However, I would say that that teleportation thing, it does look really, really weird.
Yeah, and not only that, but you also had something else as well. Especially during some of the parkour segments, you had these weird camera control situations going on, and it definitely seemed like a big issue when you were trying to hang from one thing and then leap to another building to pull yourself up. The camera controls were just messed up, and if you were running, you had the ability to look behind you for some reason, but I'm not sure like what that was supposed to be, and all I ended up doing was confusing the hell out of myself when I did that, and ended up just saying screw it and just look at the mini-map if I ever need to look behind me.
It's like the camera is supposed to be where your eyes are on the character's head, and the head is actually like swiveling around and getting distracted by shiny things as you're trying to, or just getting like jostled about and everything. It's like, and it just, I don't know. It looked really, really weird to play it, and it just maybe that's just a personal thing though.
Yeah. Overall, I would say that the game has provided, the developers have provided a game that we were expecting and hoping for. There are, of course, some day one issues. We've covered some of those, optimization and all that. The
multiplayer seems to be...
Yeah, the multiplayer definitely seems to be locked. It's not... I got to the point in the game where it's like, I should have been able to co-op.
It told us.
It told us we could co-op, but for some reason the multiplayer buttons were just not there, like, period. They were...
grayed out,
indented out, or whatever. And I definitely feel like maybe there was just, like, some character in the game just came by and wiped out some of the I don't even know what time anymore. I'm sorry, I'm falling asleep while I'm recording this.
Yeah, basically multiplayer was not running for us at this time.
Yeah,
I think that the matchmaking server is yet to be implemented, but it's like hopefully that's another patch that I'm actually looking forward to, because this is really a really great game, and I can't stress how much though. A couple concerns I have, like, we haven't played this long into the game at all, really.
Oh, couple hours.
And it's and as I said, the point where it really starts getting good is the point that was in the trailer that we all saw.
Yeah, basically turning into nighttime and getting caught out in the open while you're at night, and really having to just run for safety.
Hopefully
and run for your life.
Hopefully we'll be able to make another video where we can tell you like whether or not that is the high point in the entire game, just that vertical slice segment that they made for the trailer.
Yeah.
I really hope that's not the case, though. I really hope they just keep at it. But it was really exciting, and if you can get past the first hour of talking and mind-numbing talking
and movies
and the plot that would make a B-movie indie film just say you guys are going on for too long. Then you will probably love this game. Not just fans of the Dead Island series, but just gamers in general.
Yep.
Like, this game does zombies scary.
Yeah.
And that's something...
That's something that they were trying to do, and I'm just happy to say that is something they succeeded in doing.
So I have issues with this game, but I'm going to give it a strong recommendation.
Yeah. New players, I'd recommend getting it. If you feel like some of the concerns we've brought up are too much and you don't want to buy it just yet, don't buy it just yet. Don't pre-order it. Just get it later on after some patches have come out and other players or myself have actually said, yes, you can play it now. It's a good game now.
Yeah.
Or you can go ahead and wait for a sale.
Yeah. And you know what else we might do? We might start up a Let's Play series of this game, because I'm not going to lie. I really like this game, the look of this game.
The question becomes if we have another computer that can actually handle the system requirements.
And if the co-op ever is turned on.
Yeah, that's too.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So this is Brother of Havok, and this is Den Mail.
Adios.
Adios. Take care.
Ships. Oh, no. These guys are in for, cup. Not good to knock over cups, too.